You wake up and that tight pressure behind your eyes is just gone. You sit up in bed and there's no dizzy half-second wobble, no grabbing the nightstand to steady yourself. You glance at your morning reading, the number your cuff has been screaming at you about for months, and for once, it actually looks calm. Give me 7 days, and that's exactly the morning I want you picturing right now. Not someday, not eventually, 7 days from this exact moment. And no, this isn't a supplement pitch, it's not a miracle tea, and it's definitely not some detox tea nonsense you scrolled past on your phone last week. This is 4 habits, each one under 10 minutes, stacked into your day in a very specific order. Get the order right, and something interesting happens. Get it wrong, and you'll swear none of it works. I'll show you exactly why, right in the middle of this video. I'm Dr. Claire, and today we're talking about the hours your medication quietly can't reach. Here's the contrast a lot of you are living right now. Mornings feel like a slow-motion ambush. You take your pill exactly as prescribed, you do everything right, and somewhere between 6 and 10 in the morning, your pressure spikes anyway, like it never got the memo. Your medication handles your baseline. It smooths out your daily average. What it doesn't do is chase down every individual spike, hour by hour, the way your body actually needs. The surge right after a heavy dinner. The surge the moment you wake up, the slow creep that happens while you're lying flat at 2 in the morning, a huge share of cardiovascular events, strokes, cardiac events, cluster inside exactly those windows. Your cardiologist has probably mentioned this in passing and never fully explained it. A pill taken once or twice a day simply can't patrol every hour of your life. It flattens the average. It doesn't stand guard. So today, I'm giving you 4 habits that patrol those exact windows. But there's a nuance buried inside this, one detail that decides whether the whole thing actually works or quietly falls apart. Most men get this backwards. I'll walk you through exactly why later in this video. Let's start with the one nobody talks about. Not your kidneys, not your arteries, your calves. There's a muscle at the back of your lower leg called the soleus. Most people have never heard its name, and yet it might be doing more for your circulation every single day than almost anything else in your routine. Here's the mechanism. Your heart pumps blood down to your legs easily. Gravity does most of that work for free. Getting blood back up against gravity toward your heart, that's the hard direction, and your heart can't manage it alone, so your body cheats. It recruits your leg muscles as a second pump. Every time your calf contracts, it squeezes the deep veins running through it and pushes blood upward, back toward your chest. Physiologists actually call this the skeletal muscle pump, informally, the second heart. It's not a cute nickname someone invented to sound clever. You can watch it happen in real time on ultrasound. When that pump sits idle, say while you're at a desk, at the dinner table, or parked in front of the television for 2 hours after work, blood starts pooling in your lower legs. Your actual heart has to work harder to compensate. Your blood vessels constrict to keep pressure up. The whole system tightens like a fist that never fully relaxes. I had a patient, let's call him Robert, 61 years old, who sat through 8-hour desk shifts, and his afternoon readings were consistently higher than his morning ones. Not because his heart was failing, because his calves hadn't moved in hours, and nobody had ever told him that mattered. There's real research behind this too. Studies on prolonged sitting have used tiny calf raise movements, sometimes called soleus push-ups, and measured improved blood sugar and circulation markers for hours afterward from that one small motion repeated periodically. It's one of the few interventions that works even while you're otherwise sitting completely still. Here's exactly what to do. Right after a meal, while you're still sitting in your chair, plant both feet flat on the floor. Lift your heels up, keeping your toes down like you're trying to tap the underside of the table with each heel. Hold for a second. Lower, repeat. Do this for about 2 minutes, 20 to 30 controlled reps. No rush, no straining. You can do it while checking your phone. You can do it mid-conversation and nobody will even notice. This single movement fires up that calf pump on command. Blood that would have pooled instead gets pushed back toward your heart. Your venous return improves, and your vascular system doesn't have to squeeze as hard just to maintain pressure. Small movement, real, measurable mechanical effect. Quick brain rest moment, because that was a lot of physiology at once. Think of your legs as a second circulatory hub sitting quietly below your knees. Sprinters shake their legs before a race, not out of nerves, but because it primes that pump before the real demand hits. And a standing desk only gets you halfway there. Standing still without any calf movement still lets blood pool. It's the contraction that matters, not just the posture. You don't need to be an athlete. You need 30 seconds, a chair, and 2 heels. Habit 2 is about timing your walk, not your workout, and the timing matters more than most people assume. After the biggest meal of your day, for most men, that's dinner, your digestive system suddenly needs a huge amount of blood, almost immediately. Your gut is essentially shouting for resources. Blood gets redirected toward your stomach and intestines to handle digestion, sometimes as much as a quarter of your total circulating volume. Here's the problem. If your body has to redirect that much blood on short notice and your vessels aren't cooperating smoothly, it sometimes compensates by raising pressure elsewhere just to keep supply adequate everywhere else. Some of you have felt this, that heavy, sluggish, slightly overheated feeling 20 minutes after a big plate of food. You probably chalked that up to just being full. It's partly a circulatory event happening quietly underneath the fullness. Bigger meals make this worse. A large plate of pasta or a heavy steak dinner with all the sides pulls far more blood toward digestion than a light bowl of soup. So the heavier your dinners tend to run, the more this particular habit matters for you specifically. The fix isn't complicated. 10 minutes, a walk. Nothing intense. Think strolling around the block or just pacing your living room and hallway if the weather's against you. Light movement keeps your circulatory system flexible during that redistribution. Your leg muscles are contracting again, moving blood efficiently, so your vascular system doesn't have to compensate by tightening up and pushing pressure higher. You're giving your body a second option, besides raise the pressure, for solving that digestion blood flow problem it's facing in real time. 10 minutes, not a gym session, not a jog, just a walk with your hands in your pockets. Maybe your dog dragging you toward the mailbox and back. Another patient of mine, I'll call him Marcus, 49, insisted his evenings were too tight for extra activity. 10 minutes felt impossible on paper. Once he shifted it to right after dinner, before sitting down at all, he told me it barely registered as effort. His readings, though, told a completely different story within 2 weeks. One caution here, and it applies mostly to older men, or anyone who's ever felt lightheaded standing up after a big meal. If you notice actual dizziness after eating, not just fullness, but genuine lightheadedness, that can point to a separate issue called postprandial hypotension, where pressure drops too far after meals instead of rising. If that's you, walk slowly. Stay near something you can hold on to and mention it to your doctor before making this a daily habit. Quick brain rest moment. In some studies, a 10-minute walk timed right after a meal has shown a bigger short-term blood sugar and pressure benefit than a much longer walk earlier in the day, disconnected from any meal. Timing, apparently, matters as much as duration. A short walk at the right moment can outperform a long walk at the wrong one. Quick question for you, actually. When's the last time you walked after dinner instead of dropping straight onto the couch? Drop the honest answer in the comments. Years? Months? Or, I actually already do this. I read these and I promise you won't be the only one typing years. Habit 3 targets the single most dangerous stretch of your entire 24 hours. Whether you've noticed it or not, somewhere in the first 2 hours after you wake up, your blood pressure naturally surges. This isn't a malfunction, it's built into you, older than modern medicine, older than the concept of a blood pressure cuff. Your body releases cortisol and adrenaline to get you moving, and pressure rises to match the activity your ancestors would have actually needed to survive the day. The problem, that surge, is disproportionately linked to cardiovascular events. Strokes and heart attacks cluster in that early morning window far more than at any other time of day. Cardiologists sometimes call it the morning surge phenomenon, the reason a disproportionate share of cardiac events land between 6 and 10 a.m., not scattered randomly across the clock. Your body is ramping up fast, and if you go from horizontal to fully sedentary, sitting, scrolling, checking email from bed, that surge has nowhere productive to go. All that mobilized glucose, all that adrenaline, and your muscles are doing absolutely nothing with it. It just circulates and strains. Here's the practice. The moment you're up, don't collapse into the nearest chair with your coffee. Walk to the kitchen instead of shuffling. Stretch your arms overhead. Do a lap around your house. Open the curtains and walk to the window and back before you sit anywhere. 2 or 3 minutes of light movement. Nothing more. Gives that surge somewhere useful to go. Your muscles use the extra glucose and oxygen your body just dumped into your bloodstream, instead of it sitting there straining your vessel walls for no reason. Brain rest moment. Picture your cortisol surge like a car engine revving before you've put it in gear. Sitting still is flooring the accelerator in park. Movement is releasing the clutch. It channels that energy into something the engine was actually built for, instead of just burning fuel with nowhere to go. One detail a lot of men skip, and it quietly undoes the whole habit. Coffee before movement makes the surge worse, not better. Caffeine itself raises blood pressure temporarily, and it stacks directly on top of your natural morning spike. The two effects add together rather than canceling out. So, move first. Even just 2 or 3 minutes. Let the coffee come second. One more thing. Sunlight amplifies this effect. If you can get those 2 or 3 minutes near a window, or better yet, outside on a porch or balcony, your body's internal clock synchronizes faster, which tends to smooth the surge even further on top of the movement itself. And to be clear, this is not the same as jumping into a hard workout the second your feet hit the floor. A gentle walk to the kitchen and back is physiologically nothing like an intense session on an empty stomach. First thing, before your body's even fully awake or your medication has kicked in for the day. Habit 4 is the one most men skip entirely because it happens right before sleep, when nobody's paying attention anymore and the day already feels finished. Nighttime blood pressure is supposed to dip. Doctors have a specific word for it, dipping. A healthy dip usually lands somewhere around 10 to 20% below your daytime average. That dip matters enormously. Poor dippers, people whose pressure stays elevated overnight, carry meaningfully higher cardiovascular risk than good dippers, even with identical daytime numbers. 2 men with the exact same daytime reading can have completely different risk profiles, based purely on what happens after midnight. Here's what sabotages your dip. Throughout the day, especially if you're on your feet or sitting upright, fluid tends to settle in your lower legs. Same pooling mechanism as the calf muscle habit, just accumulating slowly over hours instead of minutes. When you finally lie down flat to sleep, that fluid doesn't disappear. It redistributes back into your central circulation all at once, adding volume your heart now has to manage overnight, right when it should be resting the most. So, about 30 minutes before you actually go to sleep, lie down and prop your legs up. A couple of pillows under your calves or against the wall, whatever's comfortable, roughly higher than your heart. That elevation lets gravity do slow, gentle work ahead of time. Fluid redistributes gradually in a controlled window while you're relaxed and your body has the bandwidth to handle it, instead of dumping all at once the moment you lie flat for the night. 30 minutes is specific on purpose. Less than that, and a lot of the fluid hasn't finished redistributing before you fall asleep and roll onto your side. More than that, and most men just get restless waiting, which defeats the point of a calming pre-sleep routine. A couple of pillows works for most men. If your calves and ankles noticeably swell by evening, socks leaving deep marks, shoes feeling tighter by dinner, you might need your legs a little higher, a stack of 3 pillows, or a foam wedge. Whatever the height, the goal is the same: feet above heart level, comfortably, without straining your lower back to get there. Brain rest moment, and a genuinely surprising one. This is part of why compression socks work for some people during the day. Same principle, opposite direction, preventing pooling instead of draining it afterward. Elevating your legs before bed is essentially the evening version of that same idea. Gravity assisting you, for once, instead of working against you. Another patient, Daniel, 54, kept telling me his daytime home readings looked fine. Then his cardiologist's overnight monitor flagged him as a poor dipper. He was doing everything right at breakfast and lunch. He just wasn't doing anything in the 30 minutes before bed. That's often the missing piece. Not a new medication, just 30 quiet minutes with your legs slightly higher than your heart and your phone left in the other room. One practical note: when your 30 minutes is up and you're ready to actually get into bed, stand up slowly. You've just spent half an hour with your legs elevated above your heart, and standing too fast afterward can occasionally cause a brief head rush, especially if you're already on blood pressure medication. Sit up first, pause for a breath or two, then stand. Small step. Easy to forget. Worth remembering. Now let's pause, because there's something a lot of health content skips entirely, and I think skipping it does real harm. A meaningful portion of you watching this, my guess is close to half, Doris, will try one or two of these habits, get frustrated when your numbers don't move dramatically within a few days, and quit within a week. Then you'll assume it simply doesn't work for you. Here's why that happens, and it's not because the habits don't work. It's because bodies aren't identical, and nobody warned you about that part. If you have congestive heart failure, elevating your legs before bed can actually push more fluid back into circulation than your heart can comfortably handle overnight. That's a case where this specific habit needs your cardiologist's direct input first, not a video, and definitely not a guess based on how it worked for your neighbor. If you have significant kidney disease, your fluid handling is already compromised, and redistributing fluid through leg elevation or walking may behave differently than it does for someone with healthy kidneys. What helps one system can complicate another, and the difference isn't always obvious from how you feel day to day. If you're on certain diuretics, your baseline fluid balance is already being managed pharmacologically. Adding these habits without your doctor knowing can occasionally produce confusing readings, not because something's wrong, but because two systems are adjusting at once and neither one is telling you clearly which change caused what. If you have peripheral artery disease or significant varicose vein complications, leg elevation often feels great, but the walking component needs pacing. 10 minutes might be too much on day one. Start with 5 and build from there. And if you already deal with orthostatic hypotension, that lightheaded feeling whenever you stand up too quickly, regardless of meals, pair these habits with slower transitions everywhere. Standing up from the calf raises, getting up from leg elevation, even getting out of bed in the morning. The habits still help. You just move between positions a little more gently than someone without that issue would need to. To be absolutely clear, we are not telling you to stop your medication. That would be dangerous, frankly reckless advice, and honestly, it's the kind of advice that gets channels like this taken down because it puts people at real risk. The goal here is to support what your doctor already prescribed. To cover the hours and situations a once or twice daily pill simply can't reach on its own. Now here's the nuance I promised you at the very start. The detail that decides whether this whole protocol holds together or just becomes 4 disconnected tips you forget by Thursday afternoon. These 4 habits are not 4 separate tricks. They're one loop running across 24 hours, and the loop starts the night before, not the morning of. That's exactly backwards from how most men approach it. If your nighttime dip is poor because you skipped the leg elevation, because fluid redistributed all at once while you slept, your morning surge the next day tends to be sharper and harder to blunt, no matter how much you walk around your kitchen at 7 a.m. The evening habit sets up the morning habit to succeed or fail. It's sequential, not parallel, and the order genuinely matters. That's the part almost everyone gets backwards. They focus on fixing the morning spike directly, more coffee, faster walking, more heel raises, and ignore the night that caused it to be so severe in the first place. You can execute the morning walk perfectly and still get a rough reading, because the real problem started 10 hours earlier, lying flat with your legs at heart level, quietly pooling fluid you never gave a chance to redistribute gently. Start with the 30 minutes before bed. That's the anchor habit. Everything else in this protocol works better once that piece is in place. Honestly, if you only adopt one of these 4, make it that one. Think of it like a chain. Good elevation before bed leads to a better overnight dip. A better dip leads to a gentler morning surge. A gentler surge, met with 2 or 3 minutes of movement instead of coffee and stillness, stays controlled through the whole first hour of your day. And a controlled morning makes the after-meal habits later on work with your body instead of playing constant catch-up against it. Break the chain at the start, and every habit after it works twice as hard for half the result. I'm genuinely curious. If you've ever measured your own pressure first thing in the morning versus later in the day, tell me the difference you noticed, even roughly. 10 points, 20 points, whatever you remember. I read every one of these comments, and I'm always struck by how consistent the pattern is across different people, different ages, different medications. Let's put this together into something you can actually use tomorrow morning. Not just remember for a day and forget by the weekend. Try this for 1 full week, start to finish, and actually track it somewhere. Not in your head. Write it down or use whatever app already logs your readings. 1. Heel raises after meals, 2 minutes, 20 to 30 reps, right there at the table. 2. The 10-minute walk after your biggest dinner, no phone required, just movement, hands in your pockets. 3. Moving within minutes of waking up, before the coffee, before the inbox, before you sit down anywhere. 4. Legs elevated for 30 minutes before you sleep, the anchor that makes the other 3 actually count. None of this replaces what your doctor prescribed. Think of it as covering the shifts your medication can't clock in for. The after meal hour, the first hour of your morning, the deep hours of the night when a pill taken at 8 a.m. has already worn thin by midnight. 4 habits under 10 minutes each. None of them require equipment, a gym membership, or rearranging your entire schedule. What they require is doing them in the right order and actually starting tonight. Not next Monday. Not after the holidays. Not once things calm down at work. If this changed how you think about your own numbers, it genuinely helps more men over 45 find this exact information before their next checkup, before their next scare, before another visit where the doctor just quietly adjusts the dosage without ever addressing what's underneath it. Subscribe if you want the next part of this conversation, because next week I'm covering the specific reasons medication alone often falls short, and you won't want to miss where that one goes. And if you've been wondering why your pressure still spikes, even on medication that's supposedly working, that's a deeper topic than what we covered today, and I've got a full breakdown waiting for you as well. Links in the description. Take care of that second heart in your legs. It's been quietly doing this job for you every single day, whether you noticed it or not. Now you actually know how to help it do that job a little better.